Hi everyone. I was about to say Jackie here, and I was thinking about how I keep saying that, and I'm like, that's pretty silly because if you're watching this, chances are you know me. I think out of all the people who contributed through my page on the virtual spirit walk, I think only two people are people who don't know me personally. So it's me again. So I actually finished my walk today. It's a rainy day, and so during the walk, it was raining almost the whole time, and I didn't want to take out my phone and get it soaked. So I'm doing my rant post walk, post walk. And I walked with a friend. I'm relying on the couple of news articles that did say, yeah, we're allowed to take a distanced walk with a friend. They're contradicting each other, but I'm going with that one. We're both very responsible and safe. So, out here on beautiful Mount Royal, and I'm gonna make this a short rant because I have to go home and work on my my dissertation. But when I figured what I'd talk a little bit about today is visibility. I love coming to the mountain. It's a great place, and the land is everywhere, right? And you can feel it everywhere and get in tune with it everywhere. But I find the mountain has there's something about it. And when I come here, I always, well, when I go everywhere pretty much, but in particular where there are a lot of trees and we feel like we're in a more natural environment. And when I'm here on the mountain, I think about you know all the people that have been here and how it leads me to think about visibility because in terms of the Indigenous history and presence and ongoing presence here, but in the city at large. And just an example of one of the things that gets me thinking about that is how in 2017 they named there's another peak summit on the mountain that a lot of people don't know about, and it's in Outremont. It's behind Université de Montreal, and it's where there used to be a ski hill there. I just learned that recently. And if you're from the Beaver Lake area and you cross through the cemetery, you can get there, or you can get there from Outremont. And in 2017, it used to be called the Outremont Summit, I think. And in 2017, the same year that Montreal included the white pine on its flag to represent the Indigenous presence here, the white pine being symbolic of the Great Law of Peace of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. And so part of that, they did, that's the same year they also renamed Amherst Street to Adadagan. And so they renamed that third peak Jojage Otsiragene, and in consultation with the people of Ganawage, Ganazadage, and Aguazazne, the three local Ganyangahaga communities. I'm not sure if it was with the band councils or with the traditional longhouses, but they agreed on that name, and Jojage is often the name that's used to refer to the island of Montreal, and it signifies where people, I should have written it down, where people gather around the fire and where the groups split. And as I've mentioned in a previous video, when we do land acknowledgements, we often recognize the Ganyangahaga peoples as the traditional custodians here and ongoing custodians here, but also acknowledge that there have been other peoples here. Anishinaabe peoples, most notably, had a presence here historically, and it's the island itself has been a gathering place for a long time and continues to be for many First Peoples. And so that was really interesting that they went ahead with that. And if you go inside the chalet by Beaver Lake, I didn't go in there today, so I don't know if it's still there, but last year they still had it. There's a sign that explains the renaming and everything and gives a bit of context. So this year I actually went, not today, I didn't cross over in that direction today. I'll try to do that for one of my rants actually, and actually show you around if you haven't been there. But one thing that bugged me when I did go is that at one point you see a sign that has the name of the park, but there's no, and there are a couple of little spots that you can see, maybe there's an influence there, but there's no little plaque anywhere that gives an explanation of the name, what it means, where it came from, when it was renamed, why it's important. And that's the crux of my rant today, is that this is this ongoing thing in the city, is that there's a strong lack of visibility of an Indigenous presence here. So yeah, you'll slap a name on something, but if I didn't already know and I was wandering through there, say if I was a tourist or just this random non-Indigenous person who wasn't informed about such things, which, let's face it, is the majority of non-Indigenous folks, and I would see this and I'd be like, what is, like, I wouldn't know, and I wouldn't necessarily take the time to question, right? So it bugs me. Like, that explanation that they have right here at the Beaver Lake Chalet, or at least they had it last year, that should be there too. And it should be more widely promoted in the city, okay? Even on the website, I went on the website this morning to see if I could fish out more information about it, and it's like on the city's website, they'll tell you how to get to that park, but they're not really, give a very brief and cursory explanation. So, and this is a widespread thing. Okay, so they changed the flag in 2017 and there was a big, thing around it, but now it's just there, and I don't know, I don't go to city meetings, I'm not involved in municipal politics, so I don't know if it's talked about, but yeah. And so it winds up, I think, to me, it feeds into this Hollywoodian image that Indigenous people here, either they're just, they're in the past and they've pretty much disappeared, and the ones that are still around lived in these in reserves far away from the city, and that there are no Indigenous people in the city. And that bugs me. I had an argument. Yeah, we all like to have arguments with friends of friends on social media, right? But I remember a number of years ago, a friend of a friend, well, my friend had posted something about Indigenous people that was favorable. It's like a non-Indigenous person who's informing himself and who's sharing things. And one of his friends said, well, yeah, there I go again with that voice that I use when I'm imitating people I consider ignorant. Well, there's no native people in the city anyway, or they're not doing anything. And I responded with just like 10 or 12 Indigenous-led organizations right here in Jojage, Montreal, that I could think of off the top of my head. And those are the ones I could think of off the top of my head. And I listed some individuals who were doing really cool things right here in the city. And the person was like, oh, I didn't know. And I'm like, well, in your response, you sounded like you thought you knew. So, of course, if people don't know, they don't know. But if you don't know, then making these statements, it bugs me. But there's nothing to discourage that. There's the city, despite their talk of reconciliation, isn't really doing much to promote that visibility. And the Indigenous organizations are here. They're doing what they can to help their population. And so again, here with the Native Women's Shelter of Montreal, they're doing this really fantastic work. They're also kind of connected with Resilience Montreal, which was created just, I believe, last year, down near Cabot Square, and they're busy doing their thing. It's not up to them to kind of create ads or to get out to the general public. I mean, they need more support from the city. And you have a powerhouse like Nagazette. Shout out to Nagazette, who's awesome. And I don't know how she does everything that she does, but she's out there in the media, speaking up. But definitely, I believe in following the lead of Indigenous community leaders like Nagazette and others out there who are doing fantastic things, and giving them our support, and not just financially, but with our voices. And so if you're out there, again, you don't know, you can learn and find out. Go on the websites of these different organizations. Again, I'll include kind of a list of things you can look at before the end of this campaign. That'll probably be my last big update, is here's some things you should go look at. Yeah, I guess it connects in with my reasons for being a spirit walker. They've been doing it 7 years, and this is my 5th time being a spirit walker, and I hope to keep doing it. And I hope that it's not too late this year to join. You don't have to walk every day like I'm doing or set a target. You just take one walk, one 15-minute walk, and post a selfie. That's, and raise some funds. But if not this year, I hope that next year you'll consider joining us and throwing some support. And if you've donated or planning to donating, that's valuable as well. Thank you very much again. But yeah, come and join us. And when there's something and there's a need of support, write to your MPs, write to the municipal government, and keep informing yourself. I'm saying that every day, and now I'm rambling. So goodbye. See you tomorrow. It's raining again, so I gotta put the phone away.